Hello and welcome to the Indie Game of the Week. My name is Martyr and this is Attack of the Gelatinous Blob. It's an RTS style tower, well, mixed in with a little bit of tower assault game. It was created by Paper Machete Games, kind of a newer indie developer in the scene. And they're kind of looking for funding right now to get this game going, and they asked me to play this for them and feature it on my channel. Give a quick shout out to them and thank you for trusting me to play your game here. If you're a fan of that 1958 classic movie The Blob, or maybe you pretended to be a mad scientist when you were a kid, this might be the game for you, because that's exactly what this game does. It basically puts you in the role of the bad guy. You get to go around busting everyone's crap up and blowing up town and eating people and eating the town and just the whole shebang. It's a very interesting game, and I'm going to talk about it while I play it a little bit, so let's just get started here. This is just a demo build, so remember, everything you see is subject to change and is not necessarily a definite version of what the final product will look like. There's a quick little intro here, basically, of the mad scientist that you play who really needs to get to a dentist, I think. And apparently he's a huge fan of green hair dye. I have to admit, the game is very stylized, which I think is adorable. They have a very unique style. The music of this game is fantastic. I'm sure that's something that I'm not sure if they intended to do that on purpose, but the music of this game rocks. It's really cool. It has like this cool retro style going on while you're playing the game. It's really nice. So here we are. He says, there you go. Moving along here, we're gonna get to the game finally. And basically you hit attack, and this is how the game starts. There's that great soundtrack I was talking about. So I'm sure you're asking, what the heck is this game about, Murder? This game, basically, you are tasked with creating blobs. And these blobs have a very unique ability. Well, for one thing, you can grow buildings out of blobs. They kind of look like a booger, which is kind of not so nice. But basically, create buildings, and you're tasked with creating blobs to inevitably to go and destroy this town. And this town may not look like much right now, but believe it or not, the creator basically says that it has a dynamic AI that will respond to your actions. Once you start attacking the town will react. Depending on what strategy you take, the town will react to that strategy. That's a dynamic AI. Well, let's talk about this stuff here. Right now when I'm building, these things right here, you can kind of relate them to pylons from StarCraft. Basically, they allow you to have more blobs. The more of these you have, the better. Now, this does not necessarily mean that you can only make this many blobs. I mean, for example, let me get Crack-a-Lack in here. And yes, unit creation is rather fast. Unfortunately, they don't move very fast, though. And this thing basically generates your resources. As you can see, they build up slowly. So let me get some blobs out here on the field. I have to say they're freaking adorable. They're very happy looking blobs. They look like they want to kill everyone. So there we go. We have now 10. Now, like I was saying earlier, you don't necessarily have to do the maximum limit. You can go above it, but what happens is that these guys, these ones with like the crazy symbols above their heads, may not necessarily follow your commands. They may go slowly, they may go tell you to screw yourself, they may even turn around and attack you. If you create too many of them, they go rabid and kill you. They basically destroy the base, which is quite entertaining to watch. But one of the neat parts about this game is, look at that! Yes, you just saw correctly. I just threw one of my slime creatures and made one of them bigger. Look at him, he's getting tall now. He's huge. And there you go, now I have a giant slime. There's definitely different multiples, different types of blobs, I should say. Not all of them are in the game yet, but he has planned, I think, from what I saw, like from 3 for right now, like a square one, and kind of reminds me of D&D, the gelatinous cubes that we used to fight back in D&D days. Anyway, so the units evolve. They can change shapes, they can change forms, but aside from that, depending on what they consume, for instance, excuse me, I'm having a little mouse issues there. Depending on what they consume, it changes their molecular structure, which I think is a very cool idea. For instance, this guy's about to eat some garbage, or whatever the heck that is, and he turned into kind of like the stinky mutant-esque creature. So let's take another one, and let's have one consume metal. Get over here. They're not as fast as, you know, but even he says that they can be probably fixed. It's probably an upgrade to get them to move faster. As you can see, they have changed color and have new abilities. This one, for instance, farts. It hits everything around it. This one's more of a distance attacker. And again, one of the neat parts is you can take your basic ordinary slimes and make these units stronger, bigger, better. And that is pretty friggin' neat. So let's see if I can get this to work here. I also do believe this is also a way to gather resources, as you can tell. So I'm going to take some of my slimes here. Not my slimes, my blobs. I'm sorry, I keep calling them slimes. But they're blobs. Get it right, Martyr. They're blobs. So yeah, like I said, they can evolve and change, and depending on what they eat, I think it's a very neat concept. Depending on what they eat, they evolve. I also do believe depending on what they eat, for instance, if I take this blob over here and have them start heading towards the rock, it's a way of gathering resources. So not only do they have purposes of growing, evolving, and changing and attacking, but they're also your resource gatherers. As you can see, I think I just got some stone, 13 pieces of stone. If I continue clicking on the stone, it'll go to another part of the stone and consume more stone. So I think I'm not sure if that has any point currently in this version of the demo, but that is how you gather resources, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, this game is not a hardcore RTS necessarily. This game is more about, it's casual. It's not meant to be, it's meant for people to pick up, play, have a good time, and then, you know, move along. The game does have a challenging aspect to it. It's not necessarily just easy. But it's definitely not, you know, if you're not a hardcore StarCraft player, you're not going to exactly, made too many there, you're not going to have the hardest time in the world playing this game. So, right now we are tasked with destroying the town. I know that sounds mean and horrible thing to say. Whoopsie. Sorry about that, guys. Having little camera issues. It's a demo build, so every time I click on a direction, it kind of just goes off in the direction. It's hard to get it to stop. Anyways, yeah. So once you destroy a building, I don't really know what purpose this currently serves, but basically you can infest that building, I guess you could say. And that building grows into a giant gelatinous building made of slime, goo, you know, stuff. And it also ups your count, which I guess is kind of useful. And again, you can create more and more and more and more. And I may just do that, just to have an army of ultimate destruction. So there we go. I'm back at my limit now. And I'm tasked with destroying about 9 buildings. And that's basically it for the first mission. So I'm going to just get to it while I talk about the game here really quick. The game basically is, like I said, about changing your things, changing your blobs, evolving them. The game also has other features, like eventually you'll get access to these like mad scientist attacks, which I'm not exactly sure what those are, as they're not in the game currently. But basically, they are kind of like super attacks. I guess they allow you to do things that your slimes might not be able to do. Right now, the police have become aware of what I'm doing and, well, are attacking me. As you can imagine, if giant monsters start attacking your town, there would probably be people going ape crap everywhere. There we go. We got some slimes here. You know, I want more ranged attackers, so I'm actually going to have this guy go over here and chow down on that mailbox, and he should change. There you go. Again, I love that feature. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, they have scientific ability. There's the kind of things to help you. This other type of building that isn't in the game yet that changes the blobs, the blobs to different kinds of units. And again, that's not in this current build, but still something to look forward to. The game is itself looks very fun, and I have to say I love the quirky style of it all. And you can definitely see how it would get challenging as the AI starts reacting. Like, if I don't know if they're doing that yet, but if I let them, they will build a structure, kind of like a bunker. And what they will do with that bunker basically is kind of start trying to set up defensive points. So the game reacts to what you do basically. Now the game also is featured to be moddable. At least that's what it says on the Kickstarter. And basically that'll allow you to basically add whatever you want to this game. I think that you're going to make the code completely open source, so you can change any aspect of the game in any way you like. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's very bold of a developer to do that kind of a thing. And also, the game will have a map creator. So if you want to create your own maps for your friends, maybe if it's on Steam, it'll be shareable. I think it's a pretty dope feature. There we are, we're destroying buildings. I'm pretty sure I've destroyed enough of the town realistically to achieve my goal here, but I just wanted to be a jerk. Because realistically, you know, I'm a mad scientist, that's what I do. I don't know necessarily what these serve. I think these are just a way to get free resources. I don't really know quite yet, to be honest, what those do. But I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. You can collect resources from those crystals. So there we go. I've destroyed about, I don't know, quite a bit of the town. We're going to finish up the south side over here. If my camera would stop freaking out, man. My camera's afraid of the blobs. So let's destroy these buildings and start infesting them quickly. Like I said, the music, I love the music. The blobs are adorable. I think this game has quite a bit of potential. This is just a demo, so I mean, this isn't all of the game and all its features. That's why they need the Kickstarter. He actually wants to finish the game itself. But I think this game has a lot of potential. I mean, what I would love to see is them add more objects to consume and change my blobs. I think the consumption of things should be kind of one of the primary features. I think it's hilarious. I'd love to eat an entire town and then end up with a completely different army than I started out with. Alright, so there we go. We've destroyed about a lot of the town. So I'm going to start just throwing blobs at these things and mutant changing the town here. Unfortunately, I do lose my blobs by doing this. So I'm going to have to create more blobs here. If my camera would stop freaking out. There you go. I got one over here that's just lurking. So we'll send them that way. Where are my blobs? Blobs! Blobs? I don't have all my blobs. I lost my blobs. Are they hiding? I think I blew up some of my blobs by accident. Oh well. Alright. Like I was saying though. What the heck? They're inside the building actually, I'm sorry. So let's have them keep infesting the buildings here. We got 5 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Can you move? Yes, you can. Excellent. That'd be 7, 8. And this guy will be, I do believe, number 10. I like how the camera can change angles like that. I think that makes it more, so you can kind of see the action of what's going on here. I kind of like that. There's a couple things I'd like to see added to this game. I'd like to see more materials to change my blob types. I'd like to see maybe another kind of faction. I don't know. This game to me is very Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Just the style and the kind of the crazy theme of it all. It just seems very like that. So I would think a faction would be hilarious. I think crazy vegetable faction would be just funny to fight. Blobs versus vegetables. I'm just spitballing here. This doesn't necessarily have to be a feature. I'm just thinking this would be stuff that I'd like to see. The game is pretty fun. It's enjoyable, I have to say. I think this game has a lot of potential. I love messing with my blobs. And I would like to see more zany destruction. I'd like to be able to really just see things blowing up everywhere while my blobs are just marching over things that are exploding and such. So that's basically it. Unfortunately, that I only have one level in the entire demo, so that's all I can really show you about this game. But they have a Kickstarter, they have a website. I will put those links in the description. I highly suggest you check this game out. Download the demo, play with it yourself, see if you like it. I think this game should be made. I think it should. I think it would do good maybe on a phone, or it has a lot of potential. So anyways, if there is a game you want me to play, tweet at me at MartyrA2J. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been the Indie Game of the Week, Attack of the Gelatinous Blob. Thanks for joining us.